Hello and welcome to Chemicals Knowledge Hub TV, your one-stop shop for interviews and insight from the industry. Joining me today from the grounds of a beautiful chateau somewhere in France is Andrew Badrot, CEO of C² PHARMA. Andrew, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
So, I understand that you recently said that observed that the pharmaceutical industry had responded very well to this coronavirus pandemic, but that there will be no more business as usual in pharmaceutical manufacturing after COVID-19. How exactly do you think the industry will be changed after this pandemic has eventually been brought under control? And what do you think life will look like when we return to a new kind of normal?
Well, the changes in the pharmaceutical industry do take time, but you can already see the seeds being sown as to what it could look like in the next 10 years. And I think there's going to be a reshoring of the manufacturing in the industry back to the United States, to basically what I would call regional hubs, the US, Europe, obviously. And I think the model of outsourcing the manufacturing to India and China, to the extent that they have been done up till today, is going to change. So of course we're looking at it from our narrow viewpoint, because we are at our heart a manufacturer of active pharma ingredients. But from our standpoint, the way we look at things, it's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer.
You talk about reshoring. What impact do you think that will have on the industry? Lots of this manufacturing being taken, moved back to base, like you say, back to the US, back to places in Europe. How will that impact the industry on the kind of picture, do you think?
I think, well, first, it will take a tremendous amount of work. Most countries build their weapons and their armaments locally, because obviously in times of need, where you would need those type of tools, then obviously you cannot rely on others to get them. And I think what COVID did is, to a large extent, a little bit of that. Obviously, to a lesser extent, I don't want to compare COVID to a war, but ultimately the Cold War that is occurring between today China and the United States, and to some extent I would call the cooling between China and Europe, and you add on top of this some of the decisions that India have made during the crisis, at the peak of the crisis, in blocking the export of some key APIs to the Western world. All those have been very damaging decisions that were made, and that will have that impact. And so I think with the investment, and I would say the political will to want to reshore those products into Europe and the US, I think we will see a resurgence of manufacturing of a lot of our drugs uh, in those hubs, in those regional hubs. This will obviously drive up the cost of some of those medications, although I do believe that those will not be consequential increases, because they just get lost in the supply chain, in the supply chain value ultimately. But it will be a tremendous amount of work for all of us that will basically be needed to do that transition. And as I said, I think it's going to be a 10-year transition.
Really interesting stuff. So tell me, in that case, talk about transition and change and opportunity and challenge. How C² PHARMA coped during the crisis? How have you been able to keep the wheels turning, if you like, at C² PHARMA? And would it be fair to say, we talk about where there's challenge, there's opportunity. How do you see the challenges and opportunities for C² PHARMA and for the bigger picture?
Well, well, the way we cope with it in our case was rather straightforward, because we have always been extreme in our approach. So we've always taken the very dogmatic approach that supply security trumps costs. And we've been kind of at odds with the industry because a lot of the industry is built around costs. And so we've been walking along that path where we felt quite lonely. And obviously, the crisis, in a way, sadly so, vindicated our model. We did not suffer at all from the crisis because our supply chain was built and designed to basically cope with almost anything. I mean, short of like a massive stir, we can customers for multiple years with all the redundancies that we have built throughout our supply chain, and that is what in that case saved us. Now, in terms of the opportunities ahead of us, if there are opportunities for us, I think the opportunities are definitely more for American manufacturers. We are based in Europe. Obviously, we're based in Luxembourg. I think manufacturers are definitely going to benefit from that, and we can see obviously already that trend happening. We can see a lot of funding from various entities in the U.S. government flowing to companies in the United States. Some of them don't make sense, to be very honest. You kind of scratch your head when you look at them, but nonetheless, money is flowing. In Europe, unfortunately, it's not the case. European wills are not as strong as American wills. The European political system overall is not as powerful as the American one. So in Europe, I think we will ultimately stand to lose, I think, from that trend, because we will not get the backing. I'm afraid, at least, that we will not get the backing from the European political system and establishment to do those hard things that we have to work on.
Which puts a lot more onus on you to be bold with your moves. So tell me about what C² is planning in terms of physical expansion of operations or new business partnerships, cooperative alliances, acquisitions. What are you allowed to talk about what your strategy is to keep those wheels turning in lieu of some of the support and investment that your competitors in the United States might be able to receive?
Well, we're going, I would say, so we are lucky enough to be financially very strong as a company, and in fact, what we've done during the crisis is to really kind of double down on the investment. So today, I would say all our investment are based on organic growth. So we are developing today. If you look at our company, we have 4 major active pharmaceutical ingredients. We are working on 10 by now concurrently, which is for a company our size quite a daunting task. So we are all into this organic development. Those 10 APIs are going to be coming on stream in 2021 and 2022 onwards. And we are just like investing, because I think this is now the chance for us in the environment that we have today. Investing more is very rare, and that's what we're doing. Ultimately, our only chance today is to double down on the strategy that we have set, basically to develop. We want to become the leading ophthalmic, active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturer globally. And now that's what we're setting ourselves to do. In that sense, COVID could be a turning point, because many other companies are probably skating on their R&D investment, and we're just doubling down on it.
Really good stuff, Andrew. Thank you so much for taking time out to chat to us today, and I wish you all the very best for the coming months and years.
Thank you very much, David.
And thank you very much indeed for watching. Stay tuned for lots more here at Chemicals Knowledge Hub TV.